This is called a show.
Well, one thing, Zach, that you touched on was just this gross focus on identifying unnecessarily women's names that may or may not be involved. And I think it is it isn't too harsh to say that that was a failure by many people, including folks within our own industry. And Brad Stevens actually addressed that today. I want everyone to take a listen.
We have a lot of talented women in our organization, and I thought yesterday was really hard on them. And I think that, nobody can control Twitter speculation and rampant, but I do think that we as an organization have a responsibility to make sure we're there to support them now, because a lot of people were dragged unfairly.
So let's talk about that.
I want to bring in our NBA
quick
analyst,
segment, and we'll come back to this
because
there's definitely an issue with what Brad Stevens said, because he didn't say shit. He said nothing, and he says that they're protecting the women of the Celtics organization, but the reality is, both people were involved. It was consensual, and me being from corporate America, it means that at the end of the day, normally both parties are basically spoken to. One gets suspended, which is what happened, which was if there was a upper management involved, which he deserves that 100%. But what should happen is, at the end of the day, why don't we know who she is? Why aren't we putting her information out there? She knew he was married, just like he probably knew she is married, because that's what they're speculating, right? So, to me, it's like, stop being on your high horse, Malika, and, because she's going to actually go in on Perkins right after this. And what I want to say is that she needs to understand that women it's not about protecting women. It's about what's right. The lady was wrong. Ime was wrong. Both parties are at fault. Period. That's what it is.
Perk, you played for the Celtics organization. What were your thoughts on this message here?
Well, one, to me, I didn't like Brad's comments on this, and let me explain why. Not the fact that he was taking up and protecting the women in the organization, but, he said about the speculations and the Twitter BS and things to that nature, and how unfair it was to the women in the organization that is not involved with this particular situation, and I get that, right? But why is it speculations? It's speculations because of the reports that were put out by the actual Boston Celtics. So they didn't do a great job from the jump of actually protecting the women in their organization, because knowing that they were going to sit up here and give out this information and go out here and suspend Ime Udoka and talk about, just give a little details, it's going to have people speculating. And in my eyes, I feel like the Boston Celtics dropped the ball, not only in protecting their entire franchise, but in protecting the women as well. They should have made sure that they crossed their T's and dotted their I's before they put this information out. And I get it. Now we're to this point, and now he had to go on here and he had to say this and he had to say that to protect those innocent women. But at the end of the day, man, it just ain't right how they went about it. The word accountability, okay? Accountability doesn't just go to Ime Udoka, okay? Accountability goes to the other people that played a part in that as well. Let me tell you another thing I didn't like about my good friend Wick Grossbeck and Brad Stevens in this press conference when they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
And this is where it's about to go down, because she can't help to keep it to herself. And this is where she's going to address it. And this is where she basically cuts him off. And then, right after he tells her, I got receipts, I know what I'm talking about, she basically throws him off air. What is the deal with Malika Andrews? Why is there such a problem when she's talking on air? And why is she such a feminist? Like, that woman that's involved should be just as much, have much culpability as Ime has. She knew he was married. Whatever the reason is, whatever it is that she just doesn't, she thinks that we're attacking women. We're not. We're just saying there's accountability. Where's the accountability for both parties? That's what it's supposed to be. Let me know what you guys think.
Look,
Well,
that's the
Kendrick,
problem that I have right now. Everybody got to be held accountable.
Kendrick, I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was an investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here. And I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because what we have to...
Well, I'm not speculating.
Sure.
I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a 1-year suspension. And I share your frustration with the lack of transparency, while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to the conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I thank you for your perspective.
All right, so first she does it with Stephen A. and on his show, and she gets actually put in place. And yet, what I fail to understand is, I mean, Kendrick Perkins has been part of the Boston Celtics organization for a long, long time. The guy has inside information. The guy has a good ties with the organization. Why wouldn't she let him talk about the information that he had? Why did she shut him down? You know, the problem is that we needed to hear what he needed to say, because maybe what he was basically going to give up was the information of how we can stop this from happening. It's not a guy versus girl thing, a man versus woman issue. It's about accountability. And from the way Malika's talking, it makes it seem like she doesn't want the woman to have accountability. You know, and she hasn't learned a lesson from Stephen A., being on Stephen A. when he put her in her place. Listen, you're a baby boomer. You know, you're 27 years old doing this, and you're basically out here being just a straight feminist, not looking to hear what's really going on. You need to slow your roll, lady. Seriously, it's annoying already. And I'm surprised ESPN is still keeping you on there. Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, guys.